Welcome to No Shame Betrayed. This is True Crime, The Child Murders by Susan Smith. On October 25th, 1994, the nation was captivated by the murder, or actually the missing, of two young children, a 14-month-old Alex and 3-year-old Michael. The mother claimed a black man hijacked her car and drove off with their children. For 9 days, Susan Smith continued the story that her children were kidnapped. The nation was so worried about these children, and with racism, people were looking for black men who were stealing children. But quite quickly, the police were suspecting that Susan was involved. Within the 9th day, she finally admitted that she killed her kids. She had driven her car to a local lake and let the car drive down an embankment for loading and unloading boats, while her two boys were strapped to their car seats. The car rolled into the lake, and she watched her children drown. These were babies that were not aware of what was going on or why Mama has left the car. It must have been terrifying. Even to a 14-month-old child, having a screaming 3-year-old brother in the water coming into the car, they will know they are in danger. They suffered. Now, back then, I was a very young adult, did not know much about the murders. They kept saying, well, she had a mental breakdown. And I was busy with other things in life, but okay, this horrible woman, for whatever reason, decided to kill her kids, and I moved on with my life in general. I kept up with the trial a little bit, glad that she got 30 years to life, something like that. She did not get the death penalty. Since then, I never thought about it much. They showed the little red car being pulled out of the lake, showing pictures of the boys, and of course the funeral with the grieving father. But a few years ago, I started noticing a pattern when people, especially women, would kill their children. They seemed to be having an affair with somebody. Well, duh. They are having an affair, and for whatever reason, logic that goes through their head, they want to have a new life with this new person, usually a guy, and they decide to end the lives of their children and sometimes their husbands. Sometimes it's a combination of life insurance and the affair. Maybe the woman wants to have the affair to have the guy kill her husband to get his money. Or it could be the other way around, where the wife is having an affair and the guy suggests killing her husband to take the money. There's all kinds of ways they go about the logic of killing other people. But in this episode, we're going to talk about Susan Smith. In October 25th, 1994, she was 23 years old. As it turns out, she was having an affair with her boss. He had sent her a letter saying he could not see a future with her because she has children. She must have been heartbroken. She's in love with this man, a very wealthy man. And her two boys were keeping her down, keeping her away from the new love in her life. Never mind, she is married with 2 children. She wants to go where the grass is greener. Or who knows? We do not know all the interactions she had with her boss. But this is common with affairs between an employee and the employer, someone in charge, a supervisor. They have the power. They use that power to get sex. The employee can easily be manipulated and think they may get a promotion, a future marriage, when all along there was no future. It happens quite a bit. her boss giving her the letter, "I don't want to have a future with you," that was his way of keeping the affair where it is, which is sex, not love. But for her, it was about love, her future. She was a young woman. She wants a new life. Now, as it turns out, there's a little more to this. This was not her first affair. Before she married the father of her children, she was about 19 years old and was having an affair with another guy. He was married. That didn't last very long, and he broke up with her. Apparently, she tried to commit suicide back then. Did not go very well. Well, she did not succeed. Sometime after that affair ended, that's when she met her future husband, and life continues from there. But there's a little more. It turns out she was also having an affair with her stepfather. That affair ended about 2 months before she killed her children. Thus, she was cheating with 2 men behind her husband's back. Now, the unfortunate thing is that her sexual relationship with her stepfather started when she was 16 years old. Her mother had married this man when she was about 14. So, for a short time, he was molesting her. They stopped having sexual relations for a while. I do not have the information at this time for how long that was, but eventually they started having sex again when she is at least an adult. It might have been going on for a year or a few years. I do not have that data yet, and I will make a newer update episode concerning Susan Smith. Now, obviously, her as a child having sexual abuse from her stepfather probably played a part in her future. But still, she is an adult. Even though her lawyer said she was suffering a mental breakdown, I do not buy that. She planned these murders. She lied about it for 9 days to the public, saying, "I miss my babies. I want them back." The usual thing. But she knew where they were. She put them in the car and drove them off. Well, she let the car roll into the lake. Her lawyer said she was remorseful. No, she regretted being caught. She regretted not having the future with her boss. This is a common thing with cheaters. They are in a fantasy, and they can become dangerous when they fight to keep that fantasy alive. When the affair becomes exposed or in danger of ending, they will fight to keep it. They will harm other people, including killing them. Now, don't be too worried about your partner hurting you, hopefully. We have the fantasy where the husband walks in on the wife cheating with another man, he gets a gun and starts shooting. That rarely happens. The distraught, betrayed partner rarely commits violence against others. It is usually the cheaters who are causing death, assaults, and any other crimes against their betrayed partners or collateral damage of children and family or friends. So, just be cautious. Pay attention to the behaviors of your partner after you've caught them cheating or suspect they're cheating. Don't be too paranoid, but if they have a history of violence against you, assaulting you or anything that makes you fearful for your life, take that into account. And if they do threaten you, they threaten your life, take it very seriously. It is always most unfortunate when the children suffer. They are collateral damage. But the worst thing is when the parent kills their own children out of spite, out of selfishness, out of whatever reasons that go through their brains that says, you know what? If I kill my children or my husband, I can have a new life with this new person. They don't think far enough that, there's a good chance They're going to get caught. They're not professional killers, and they are going to go to prison. This is my first true crime episode. I will be doing more in the future that pertains to affairs and death or any other crimes against their betrayed partners or family, because there's a lot. These been going on for many years, and what I discovered is every weird murder that comes up on the news, someone's cheating. Very rarely does a person kill a partner because they feel like it. Something drives them to do this, and it's usually money or sex to cause harm to another person. So, on November 20th, 2024, Susan Smith was up for parole. Her ex-husband and family members came to the parole board and asked them to deny her freedom. She was denied. For these past decades that she's been in prison, she was not a model inmate. She has been caught numerous times with drugs in prison and having sexual relationships with prison guards more than once. Do not know how many times, but she has. Well, she seems to have a pattern. Don't feel sorry for her. Yes, she had abuse when she was a child. Yes, she had toxic men in her relationship that she was cheating with. They did not help her become a better person, but she made those choices. She was an adult when she decided to end the lives of her children. Her boss did not ask her to do this. Nobody did. She made the plan. She went through it. She had planned to have a future new life with her boss. And instead, she has been locked up for decades. The only person she can blame is for herself. Even her stepfather blamed the murders on him. That's a little noble of him, but who cares? I wonder if he went to jail for that. I'm not sure how the 90s went, but nowadays you can be arrested for past sex crimes on underage children. So what did she get out of this? Nothing. She lost everything in her life. She made the choice thinking her fantasy will continue, and she lost everything and more. And that's unfortunate because two people lost their lives. Her children would be in their 30s now. Maybe she would be a grandmother. Those birthday parties when they were 5 years old, 10 years old, that never happened. I don't think she really cares that much, but for the father, those are things he'll never be able to have with his boys. That's the biggest shame. She took their lives away from him. She was completely selfish, and she hurt a lot of people. People in her family and her husband's family. And this is what she got. Don't have sympathy for her. Most people don't. A lot of people say online, let her rot. And I agree. There should never be a day that she sees freedom from outside of a prison. That is where she should have her last breath. Hopefully, she'll spend another 30 years in prison to think about her decisions, to reflect on her actions. Hopefully, these kind of stories may warn other people who are thinking about having an affair or in the middle of an affair to reassess their possible futures, that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I need to stop what I'm doing and think about what is the cost. What am I trading sex for? When less than 1% of affair relationships are actually successful, is this worth it? Is it worth the pain? It's not. It's not. So maybe they'll stop doing it. They'll talk to their partner, their legitimate partner, and say, you know what? Let's have counseling, whether they admit to having an affair or not. Listen, I'm having problems with our relationship. Let's go see a marriage counselor. I'm feeling issues, and I'd like to Save us. I want to be with you and be the partner I promise my vows, my heart to. Let's work on us. I want our marriage to be successful, and I want to talk to you about it. Hopefully they'll say this is not worth it, because for the most part, it never is. So, with that in mind, I want you to remember you deserve happiness.